Good morning, gang. Happy Monday morning. All right. If you're waiting for the world to go back to normal, stop toking off the crack pipe. It ain't ever happening. This is the new normal. The crazy, insane, who knows what's going to happen next stuff. Some people say this is a gloom and doom video. That's fine. Nope, this is the truth. Okay, as per normal. We are in a period, I guess, if you will, where everything is just insane. And I'm not talking politically, all right? I'm talking about the world as a whole. And maybe some of it has to, the cause of the craziness, some of it's political. But let's take a look at some of the crazy stuff that's going on this year, okay? And we're what, 7.5 months into the year at this point? Okay. Let's take a look at right now. You had flash flooding in Milwaukee over the weekend at the state fair. They got nearly 6 inches of rain in next to no time. People were stranded in their houses. This is freaking Milwaukee. It's not like they are looking at the Mississippi River overflowing, okay? Granted, close to Lake Michigan. The lake didn't flood. It's just insane rain. Let's look at California. Again, every year, all right? You've got raging wildfires out there. You've got, the Canyon Fire is something 50,000 acres, and then we've got the Gifford Fire, which is over 110,000 acres right now. Okay. How about Arizona? Let's take a look at the Dragon Bravo Fire, okay? That's 130,000 acres. That one's near the Grand Canyon, okay? Shall we mention the earthquake that hit off of Russia last week? Shall we talk about the flash flooding that you had in China that killed 12 people last week? I mean, this is just stuff that's going on right now. Hey, maybe we'll talk about Phoenix, Arizona again, right? Yeah, they had record highs, 120 degrees last week, okay? It's Arizona. It's hot. I was in Vegas, lived there, when they hit a record at 117. That was freaking crazy, okay? We could look at the earthquake that hit Turkey last night, 6.1 magnitude. We could look at the 5.9 magnitude earthquake that hit off of Guatemala on Saturday. I mean, I go on and on and on with this. I mean, let's talk about meteorites. There was one that hit in Georgia, came through somebody's house. Granted, it was maybe the size of a marble, okay? But it was supposedly older than Earth. That was in June. You had one that hit in Australia over the weekend. You had, as they've called it, a blazing fireball that was going over, sonic booms, all this sort of stuff. You've heard the stories of the asteroid that's supposed to hit Mars. Some people have said it'll hit the moon. Okay. All right. Craziness. Then you look at people. Now, again, I'll give you this, and like I said, this isn't all politics, but the effects. Trump's been president for 6 months. We've had around the world 7 wars that he has tried to negotiate out of. Granted, these aren't big ones. I mean, you could say the biggest ones are Russia, Ukraine, or Israel, Hamas, okay? But some of the other ones, I mean, India, Pakistan, that's a worrisome one because that's 2 nuclear powers. But negotiate a peace, however long it lasts. I mean, peace treaties in the Middle East last, I sneeze, longer than a peace treaty in the Middle East. But 7 wars, the people are going crazy. Economically, there isn't anybody in the world who's going, happy days are here again. Nope, that ain't happening, okay? Economically, the entire world is struggling with the, I forget the organization that tracks world food prices. World food prices are at an all-time high. That came out over the weekend. Hungry people will do a lot to feed themselves, to feed their kids, okay? They will commit crimes. What do we have? Shootings in New York, Fort Stewart, Miami. You had a guy in Hawaii have sulfuric acid thrown in his face. People are snapping. We've pissed off God. And retribution is swift and fierce. You wonder all the time why you do what you do, why you spend money on extra food or canning jars or more ammo or solar generators or boxes of bandages or whatever it is. Why am I spending all this money on that? You know, I could be sitting on the beach in Florida, but no, I spent money on canning jars instead. There's a lot of people who have chosen to buy a new toy, take a vacation somewhere, and don't have anything put back. Imagine if any of those things happen to you. A flood, an earthquake, a fire, God knows we're in hurricane season, okay? A shooting, somebody throwing acid, a war starts, gangs. That just happens to somebody else. That won't happen to me. Said the people in Milwaukee, said the people in California, said the people in China and Turkey and Guatemala and everywhere. It won't happen to me. Until it does. You think we're not going to have wars? Hell, we're involved in them. Maybe not physically. There's not shooting going on in our front yards. There's not bombs dropping down the street. I got it. But how many of you have kids or grandkids in the military? How many of you have kids or grandkids in the military that within the last few years, all of a sudden we're told, we're reassigning you to Germany or to Poland? It wasn't because they wanted you to experience a new culture. It was you were being pre-positioned in case Russia-Ukraine turned into World War III. How many of you, especially if your kids are in the Navy, their ships have been rerouted to the Middle East? Again, it's not because they want you to go get, your kebab fix in. No, you're being pre-positioned in case that war went super hot. We haven't talked about China, Taiwan in a long time, but you know that one's coming. Okay. Japan's certainly getting ready for it. Korea's certainly getting ready for it. They know it's coming. And we just kind of hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil about it here in the domestic media. But it's happening. What's the next event? Do we get another Helene that came into western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee, a hurricane that far, 600 miles inland, and was devastating? It'll never happen to me, right? There's some people that were ready. Diane was one of them, okay? There are a lot of people that weren't. Don't think we're going back to the good old days. where your biggest worry is if the mail shows up by 2:00. People are having a hard time affording food. People have a hard time affording housing. Jobs are disappearing. Told you guys yesterday about all the retail stores closing, right? 5,800 of them or something so far this year. Right. Each one of those stores had employees. All right. If each one of those stores had 20 employees, yeah, that's 100,000 people without a job. That's the size of a small city dying. We have Chicago, which has gone full-blown communist under Brandon Johnson. And they want to raise taxes because people have so much extra money laying around that they can afford to pay more taxes. We have the mayoral race in New York in 2.5 months. And the front runner is a communist who wants to control rent, state-owned grocery stores, get rid of the police, tax you based on your race. Whites pay more taxes. Yeah. Anytime you sit back and you go, it'll all go back to normal. Get your head checked. We ain't ever going back. This is the normal. We can't control the weather. We can't control, well, okay, don't get me into HARP here. Weather will still do its thing. We just don't need to manipulate it. Let's leave it there. That's my point, okay? We can't control earthquakes. We can't control meteorites and asteroids. But we sure as hell can control the economy. We can control our emotions. But we have too many psychopaths running around this country, this world, thinking we got to do it different. We got to do it different. It worked so well for 250 years. Why the hell do you want to change it? Oh, because, we'll just do it better. No, you won't, okay? We need to get back to the days of church, God and school, morals, ethics, self-restraint, personal esteem, respect, honor, duty. That's the way we might make it back somewhere close. Every generation says, boy, it was so much better when I was a kid. And if you start to look at it, that's true. But what does that say? We're getting worse and worse and worse as civilization. This is any country. As time goes by. You prep to protect yourself from the chaos. Don't get lazy. Don't slow down. If anything, this is a time to increase everything you're doing. Pinball out.